The governor is proposing a carbon tax of about $1 billion a year, and he wants about $400 million of that money to go to transportation. Now, you're a member of the House Transportation Committee. What do you think of this plan?
This plan put forward by the governor really is problematic for us over here. You know, we're talking about this $1 billion plan of total tax revenue coming in, and about 400 million of it goes over to the transportation. There's several problems that I have with it. First of all is I have a problem with the tax transparency part of it, and the fact that of whether or not people know where their tax dollars are going. We have this big filter process of the money that goes through the taxing system, and he says he's going to put this 400 million into the transportation tax package, but at the same time we already have the existing gas tax portion of our taxing system, which is protected by our Constitution, and specifically for road projects and transportation projects. Carbon emission tax is not protected by our Constitution. So I'm really very concerned about that, and I'm concerned about people really knowing where their tax dollars are going. Secondly, we can bond against our gas tax, and it's a proven bondable source of income, whereas this carbon emissions tax is not bondable. And we've been told time and time again by our state treasurers that we're bonding too heavily already against the existing tax resource, but now we can't tax against this new bond against this new carbon emission tax at all. So I'm really very concerned about that.
Senator Curtis King, who chairs the Senate Transportation Committee, says he thinks Republicans would support a gas tax increase as long as there are reforms. Do you agree?
I think it goes without saying that I definitely recognize, and I believe that many, if not most of my colleagues down here recognize that we need to have some stability within our infrastructure, and we need to make an investment into our infrastructure when it comes down to transportation projects. You know, our economy really depends on a good, vibrant transportation infrastructure. So we recognize the value in that investment. But at the same time, when we look at that investment, we look at we weigh it against the broken system that we oftentimes see within DOT. We see the failures with the Bertha on the Alaskan Way Viaduct replacement. We see the leaky bridges, the leaky pontoons for the 520 bridge. We see ferries that are coming out that are leaning, or that the ramp transition on the loading ramps is wrong. So we need some absolute reforms in place to demonstrate to our constituents that we're fixing the issues within DOT before we're going to ask to reach into their pockets any further for more tax dollars.
You've introduced a couple of those reform bills. Tell us about them.
Right, yeah, and I'm very excited about that. So I'm really working on a total of 3 bills. I'm priming 2 of those bills, House Bill 1850 and House Bill 1851. I just introduced them in the legislature yesterday. I'm very excited to see them going. I think they're both good bipartisan efforts to drive some of these transportation reforms. House Bill 1850 will work on our existing infrastructure when it comes down to maintenance projects and streamlining that permit process. And it cuts off the local review portion of the permitting process. You know, our local agencies, cities and counties, have a big say in this permitting process, and they're included in other portions of the permitting process. But taking that local review part off the backside and including our local governments in the transportation permitting on the front side is going to save us a great deal of money and really streamline and make the process quicker. For every day, month, or year that we end up delaying these projects, that cost just keeps ramping up. My second bill, House Bill 1851, is going to be specifically directed to our local governments, municipal and county structurally deficient bridges. You know, there's well over 200 structurally deficient bridges in our counties and cities across the state. And we have a very cumbersome and daunting permitting process for replacing those bridges or even doing maintenance on them. So what this bill would do is remove the SEPA permitting process from from that entire process. And that's exactly how we got the Skagit River Bridge built back up as quickly as we did, is just by removing that one step. And it still ensures that we're being good to our environment, because it keeps the NEPA, National Environmental Protection Act, in place, and it still keeps the local review in place. So we have plenty of sideboards there in place. So I'm very excited about both of those. The third bill is one that I'm working on with Representative Cliburn, who's the chair of our House Transportation Committee, and that would require local governments and state government to adopt greater policy when it comes to using recycled aggregate products within our transportation projects. So I'm very excited about that one. All three of these are going to save us a lot of time and money.